Hello and welcome back to Retrotainment Recast. As you can tell, I may or may not have been defeated last week in my efforts to retain my title or regain my title.
Regain, not
Uh,
retain.
Yeah, I corrected myself. It was a stellar battle last week, I will say. Right to the wire.
Tough episode last week. Very tough.
Shawshank was tough. But as you may have noticed, I was the challenger last week. Sick note is off again. So I said I'd do him a favour here and jump back into the judge. So if you're not wondering, you didn't miss an episode. I'm still here. The two boys are still here. We've just switched places a little bit.
Well, of course, I'm still here. You know, champion stays on. You know, winner stays
Do
on.
you want to retain that championship or a chance of retaining that championship? I suggest you shut your mouth when I'm doing this intro, boy.
No, I'm just saying that's why I'm still here. You know, I'm guaranteed to be here from last week.
Listen to Chuckles in the corner there.
I'm fucking nothing. I'm saying nothing.
Well, I'm going to introduce the boys here now. We have our challenger, Mr. Carl Kingwo.
How's it going, everybody? I'm back. Back with a bang.
He was the judge last week who screwed me over indefinitely.
No need for that now.
Now the tables have turned, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
Now the tables have turned. And then we have our champion who is on a roll at the minute.
Bit of a roll
Mr.
now, yeah.
Mr. Champ Ted.
Yeah, a bit of a roll here, but I have to take on you two again. Always a tough ask, as I say each time.
It's called the dynamic duo for a reason.
Yeah, like you two have a very like you think very similarly along the lines of actors and things like that for films. And then this is not necessarily a horror, but it's horror-esque. It's down that sort of thriller horror line. So I'm a fan of horror as well, so I'm not using that as an excuse, but I'm definitely not as big a fan as you two boys. So I'm a little bit worried about this. I found it quite difficult to recast a lot. Well, not a lot of the characters. One or two of the characters I found very difficult. Like Janice could be anybody. Like there's nothing about her other than that she's a scientist in the lab. It could be literally anybody. So I'm a bit worried about that. And Sebastian Kane is just very difficult to recast because he's
zero to rapey very quickly.
Yeah, he's, God complex, which, I could recast someone with God complex, but then they have to be like both a good guy because, they're trying to do that, and then an absolute fucking just
animal
psychopath as well. Like, it's just, it's very, very rough to recast to find somebody you can fit in and do both parts of that as well as Kevin Bacon did. I have to give it to him. He really knocked it out of the park.
Kevin Bacon's a very, very underrated actor as well.
Oh yeah, he is. But like, just for this particular role, I just say he does it very well. And there's a lot of implication of rape and things, which is a bit of a trigger warning that if anybody hasn't seen this film and does plan to watch it, like it's heavily it's heavily implied. It's never there's nothing shown on screen or anything like that, but it is heavily implied.
Yeah.
If you haven't guessed by the description there, it is 2000 Paul Verhoeven's Hollow Man. It's a different darker take on Universal's Invisible Man.
Yeah.
It's a very different take. It's a different take on it as well because he's not always invisible.
No, I loved it. When they make the mask for him, it looks really shitty when he doesn't have the hair, but when he actually puts the fake hair on, you're kind of like, it does.
You can get away with that.
You're like, it kind of does look like Kevin Bacon.
Sunglasses and all,
hell. You're like, Jesus, it does look really like him. What the fuck?
It was a very good idea to do that in the film.
Yeah. The CGI for it is actually for a mid 2000s. This is where CGI is done well. We've on the slab and stuff, we've complained about CGI being overly heavily reliant on things, and it actually makes films look kind of worse because of it. This film uses CGI very well. Like his body disappearing and the reappearing and things like that, and the gorilla being brought back into the visible spectrum. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like,
did you notice a lot of the work on like when he takes the serum to go invisible. It's very 1999 Mummy-esque.
Yeah.
Like Imhotep, the way that was done, like you see the strands of like
Yeah.
nerves and stuff in his cheek, and it's his skin dissolving.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic the way you see like it flows up through the blood vein,
The
like
vein.
so it's like the veins reappear first, then it's like the bits
heart
of-
pumping it around, and it's getting
the heart, and then like muscle and sinew and bone and stuff starts. Oh, it's done
and then of course,
so
and
well.
then of course it has to show his willy.
Yeah, that really wasn't necessary, but they really went for that.
That's
They
for
really
Holland
did,
faces.
and even when they're using the lens,
infrared, yeah.
you can see him walking, you see his willy wagging.
They
And
really
you're like,
wanted to.
oh, really?
They really just wanted to get Kevin Bacon's dick in it.
Yeah.
In a roundabout way.
Right, lads. Carl, you're not gonna like it, but your missus sent me an old list there to put in for tonight.
With the wagon. More shenanigans
Um,
there.
Yeah, Sherlock is not here, and we don't have a list, unfortunately, from him as he has prior commitments. But as it says, Arlo sent me a list. Good woman, Arlo. You're gonna do a better job than Carl did here.
Probably.
But lads, will you send your picks in there so I can
Yep.
check them out if there happens to be a draw?
Yeah.
Mine's in
And
there.
we'll do what we normally do, and I'll start this in the words of the great Mills Lane, lads. I went over the drills in the dressing room. I want a nice clean fight. Watch your rabbit punches, watch your kidney punches. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Ding ding.
Get it on.
Right, lads. Pretty much anyone could start this, but I'm gonna go with Janice here. She's she lasts one of the longest.
No,
an extent.
she's the first one of the main crew killed.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Janice is the worst one. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of the only real notable scene that she has when she goes to the bathroom and thinks he's in the bathroom with her.
What?
Yeah.
Why does that bathroom have the urinals? Right. That's fine. Urinals. It's a co-op bathroom, so you have urinals, and then a normal toilet, but there's no stall. It's just in the middle. What sort of setup is that?
It's like if you went into, say, a disabled bathroom now, it's that big kind of open space.
Yeah,
and then there's
except
locker
urinals
rooms and all. There's lockers and everything in there, and you're like, what the fuck?
And then the urinals are there as well. And you're just like, well, hang on now. How many people are coming into this one bathroom to use it? This is a bit.
Yeah, enough room for a sexy party.
But we're gonna go with Janice here.
Yeah, as I said, really tough because there's nothing. The only notable thing about Janice in this is that she is obviously smart enough to be in the lab of the government. That's really her only. Her only characteristic or anything. Like, there's nothing else about her that you can really go with. So I just went for someone with that doesn't really have a name and is kind of in that younger pool. So this could be their step into the film industry. And I went with Natalie Dyer. I think she is a good actress from Stranger Things, obviously. And she hasn't, as far as I know, stepped onto the big screen yet.
I think she's done a couple of bits, but nothing major.
They're all small bits. So she hasn't stepped into the big screen as kind of Janice is very minimalistic in this film, but she is one of the main 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of figured this is a role that she could take to just get herself in there with a couple of other bigger named actors and actresses and things like that, and move her career along.
Like, let's be fair, we're talking about it being 2000 now. Paul Verhoeven was a big director as well.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been a bad move. It's not a bad career move for her, Yep.
King, what do you got?
I had a bit of trouble going with this one, but my ages are probably going to be all up and down the place tonight.
Ages don't really mean too much in this one. There's nothing that defines age, unless you pick someone that's like 70.
Yeah, which I haven't. So, so for Janice, I put in Zoe Kravitz.
Okay.
I think she might just be too big a name. Would be my only issue there with her. Because I actually did think Zoe Kravitz, but then I was like, would Zoe Kravitz take the role of the, nobody in the film? Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you the question before I go into this, right? Did you pick Zoe Kravitz because she's black?
Me?
And because Janice is black?
That sometimes is one of the things that I would do. Yeah.
I don't tend to race bend too much either.
Not
But
always, not always, but if I can't see some like this was one of the probably more difficult ones I had to
Yeah,
recast.
and this is what I said. Like this character it's very difficult to recast because there's very little discerning
Yeah.
characteristic about her.
there's like absolutely nothing that mentions that she's black or anything, so it could be
No.
anybody. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting on the good argument here.
Yeah.
Mine is
Right.
literally just Natalie Dyer taking her career that step forward. That's all I could think here was just I'll put somebody in that could move their career forward here.
So the King's lovely other half, Arlo, sent us a list, as I said.
Mm.
She went with Erin Moriarty here, who is Starlight from The Boys. Again, I think she might be a bit too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
He says yeah, and he picked Zoe Kravitz, who just played Catwoman.
No, but he's admitted as well that he feels that Zoe Kravitz might be a bit too big for the role himself. Do you know who actually
No, I
could
mean,
have been?
I could see Erin Moriarty playing Linda.
Possibly. Do you know who could have been good for that role? Actually, now that you just mentioned The Boys. Now I don't know if her English is good enough for it, but Karen Fukuhara, who is
Kimiko.
Kimiko in this in The Boys. She actually could have been good, and I didn't even think of her. It's only that you've mentioned The Boys there that I've thought of her there, and I have used her in other recasts previously. But I didn't even think of her. Yeah, I haven't. I didn't even think of her, but I actually quite like her as an actress. She was in obviously The Boys. She was in Bullet Train, and she takes a very minor role in Bullet Train as well to get herself onto the big screen. So
there's also big talks. There's also big talks now that she's going to be Kitana in the new Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I could see that she does the action and stuff like that very well. I could easily see that.
Yeah, well, that's just something I've read, but that would make sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or either be Kitana or Jade, one or the other.
Yeah. No, but I didn't even think of her. Like that's only just because you've mentioned Arlo used Erin Moriarty from The Boys, but
I went with Vanessa Hudgens here. Who obviously came off the back of High School Musical and stuff, but she's done a couple other bits around.
Yeah, she's kind of stepped out of the limelight massively since High School Musical, hasn't she? Like that.
Yeah,
everyone thought she was going to.
Bits.
Yeah, everyone thought she was going to, blow up from there, and she just kind of didn't.
Yeah, I kind of kept a name, but not a huge name.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
But I do have to agree with Ted here. The pick of Zoe Kravitz is a bit too big.
Yeah, that's fair. No problem.
Now, if you had said Zoe Kravitz for maybe Linda or even Sarah, you might have got a bit better out of it.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure.
Yeah, as I said, that's a tough one to do because it really could be anybody.
This is what I said to you when I was talking to you. I says this one is where the arguments. This is where you have to get creative here.
Yeah.
Like I have a couple of those movies in my head going for whenever I lose to go. There's a movie. Now you have to get really creative in your picks. This obviously wasn't my pick.
Yeah.
Well, it was, but
I think it's easier to be creative when when the character has a defining
trait,
a defining characteristic or like what they do or how they act. It's a lot easier to do that then when it's just they're in the film. You're like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Right. So that's the first one down, and the champ goes one up.
Takes an early lead here. Not always a good thing.
We're gonna keep it in The Office, right? And we're gonna go with Frank here, who is the genius, the background genius, maybe.
I think he's the secondary genius because Sebastian Kane manages to outwit him in changing the security codes, but he has to be smart, because he's meant to be able to hack into the CIA.
Yeah. FBI.
FBI? Is it the FBI or CIA? I can't remember. But he's able to hack into the military database. You know what I mean? So he has to be genius level sort of thing.
Right. King, what you got on Frank?
I went, as I say, very few backups with this episode. I went with Michael Shannon. So I think he can play a whole range of different characters,
I do like Michael Shannon. He's a very, very diverse actor.
Very diverse. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Mr. Shannon.
So I had two names down here, and then I came up with the one I settled on. So the two I had down were Nicholas Holt, who can play, an intelligent kind of guy when he needs to.
We've
But I
seen that with Beast.
feel he maybe is a bit too big a name for this particular role, though. Another one I had was Alex Wolff, and that's who I had down as my main, even though I know you don't particularly like Alex Wolff, Greg.
Just be thankful you didn't pick him.
I know you don't like him, but like even when you look at Jumanji, the type of character he is in Jumanji, nervous, like because even when Janice has to run off to get the blood, he's like real nervous. He's like, oh, where are you going? So I think Alex Wolff could have done that role quite well. And then it was only that I was looking at something else that I came up with this person, Owen Campbell, who you're not going to know by name, but he's Jenna Ortega's boyfriend in X.
Oh, the boom guy.
The cameraman, isn't he?
Yeah, sure. She's the boom guy. Yeah,
she's the boom man. He's the camera guy. I think he could do that very well. The nervousness, the uncertainty in himself, and then he kind of has that look of like, oh yeah, this guy's a smart guy. He's got the brains there. I think he could fit into that very, very well. And he's a young up and coming actor.
He's also in a new movie called Candyland.
I haven't seen Candyland.
It's a Bible. It's like a Bible bashing zombie or vampire movie.
Okay, I could see. I
didn't watch it yet, but
I could be interested in that. But I think he would fit in very well, and he's quite an unknown name for there, which I think the Stuart from Big Bang was not.
Such a random role because he looks the same age now.
He looks younger now. Well, now he does. Sorry, he probably looks about the same age now. When he did Big Bang, he looked younger in Big Bang than he did in this film. But I felt Owen Campbell, like, not a huge name value, and he can fit into that kind of nerdy genius role, but also the kind of cowardly, uncertain of himself role. I think he could do that very well.
Right. So, sorry, I had to knock off that list that Arlo sent me because I was checking who Owen Campbell was. Right, so Arlo has sent me Liam Hemsworth, which I'm not going to like too much for this role.
No, way too masculine, masculine and confident.
If anything, he's going to be Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
he could even be Sebastian Cain.
He'd be closer to Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think he's too much of a dickhead to be Cain.
Yeah, I don't know if he can play. I don't know if he can get that bit off to be Cain, but yeah.
Now, for me, I had one up until I watched a movie today. Right, I had Tom Felton here, who was Draco in Harry Potter. Not a major name, kind of skinny, but you could see him being a computer genius.
Yeah, I could see him. He's a bit more of a dick, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is. So that's why I was kind of not
him in a couple of years could be a very good Sebastian Cain.
That's why I wasn't settling on it.
Yeah.
But I watched a movie that I hadn't seen in years called The New Guy. I don't know whether you've seen it. It has Elijah Dushku and my pick, DJ Quails, who you'd know from Road Trip.
Yeah.
The New Guy, he's a real skinny, nerdy kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Very unsure of himself in everything. But you could tell he'd be a genius.
I haven't seen The New Guy, but I do know who DJ Quails is. Yeah, I know him from a couple of other things. My only thing would be maybe age on him. I know
he's only
age,
44.
Yeah, Frank was quite young in this 32, but as we said, he did look fucking old.
He looked that age when he finished Big Bang fucking 20 years later.
Yeah, sorry, but you did, man. If you ever watch it, you did look old. Just go back and watch it. You did.
Sorry, pal. Unfortunately, it's gonna go 2-0 to the champ. Michael Shannon's far too big, and now if you had to put Michael Shannon in for maybe Brolin's character,
I was thinking about it.
I still might have went. Okay, might be just too physically imposing for the scraps that happen in it.
Yeah.
But of course, obviously Ted was saying he watched one version, and then there's the unedited version where you hear a bit more of the dialogue and stuff, and you find out why Kane gets kind of stronger and whatnot.
Yeah. I'd say Owen Campbell is the one I was like. That's probably the pick I am happiest with across the board. That was the one I was happiest with when I got it.
Yeah. That's a first time pick.
It is, yeah, and I would never like. That's the first time he's ever been used, and I was super happy when I came up to it. I was like, "God, that is fucking brilliant! Like he fits in there brilliantly."
He's a very similar kind of stature to DJ Quails as well.
He is, yeah. He's just a bit younger and doesn't have the name value that DJ Quails have.
You sir are the new DJ Quails. Great.
Hey, there's a market for a character like that, you know.
Right, lads. What do we go now? Is it Carter or is it Sarah? I'll go Carter here.
I would say Carter myself. I think it's Sarah, Kensington, Linda McKay, then Kane.
Yeah, so we'll go Carter here.
Yeah, the kind of bumbling sidekick sort of character here is how I felt about him. I don't know how you guys felt, but he,
exactly. I was very happy to hear about. Oh yeah, what did you do when you went outside? Pretty much going. Did you ride anyone?
No, well, I think he was more just, did you spook? I think he's a bit more innocent in his thoughts of it. He's kind of thinking, did you mess with people? Move stuff around, jokey, just that. I think he's a bit more innocent in what he meant. But he's kind of the bumbling sidekick, always backs Kane to the hilt. So I had two people here. The backup I went with, which I might have gone the wrong way here, I had Paul Walter Hauser as the backup. Now, I maybe should have gone for him as the main. But I went for someone else who's, again, a quite small name here, because I don't think the actor here was a huge name at the time either.
No, not really, but he was big enough, I think, at the time. He'd been in a lot of them 2000s movies.
Yeah, so I went with someone I don't think we've used before.
Bringing out all the new picks.
Well, it's because this person hasn't really fit in anywhere else. Clark Duke, who you would know as Dwight Jr. in The Office, the other half of Flop. He's always just, backing all of them up. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea. He's just a perpetual sidekick to anybody's good ideas. Do you know what I mean? But also he's a bit of a horn dog in The Office as well, which Carter is here when he's watching, like he's looking at the like Playboy or whatever. I don't think they said it was Playboy, but whatever fucking nudie magazine it was, So I just think he'd fit in there quite well. He's not that big a name, but he fits the kind of role of the bumbling idiot sidekick who then gets killed.
Good show, man.
It's a good show. What do you got, Cap?
I went with Jesse Eisenberg. As you can tell, I'm going all Hollywood with all of my fucking picks. Like, you know what I mean? Again, another very versatile actor who I'm not a big fan of, but I find you can get good performances out of him.
Jesse Eisenberg might have actually been a better pick for Frank.
Well, there you go.
Than Michael Shannon, I think. I think he fits the kind of genius look more than Michael Shannon, doesn't he?
The look, maybe, but like again, he's got another versatile range.
No, he does. I'm just saying, looks wise, I think I would have thought Frank for him before I would have thought.
Are you thinking that maybe off the back of social
media?
That fucking film is
Social Network.
Yeah.
Kind of thinking of off Zombieland and stuff like that as well. He's kind of, slighter character, less bumbling idiot, more,
I see
misunderstood kind of genius rather than bumbling idiot. That's just how I'd see him now. But like maybe there's other films that I haven't seen him in where he can do that. He is a versatile actor, though.
I've seen him do Camp Hell and stuff, which were horror ones out there. Mm-hmm. So Arlo had Haley Joel Osment here. Obviously, what was supposed to be the biggest child star in horror.
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah, I like Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, obviously Sixth Sense, Star Wars.
It didn't really. He's in The Boys as well, actually.
Yeah, he plays mind mimic.
Yeah, he doesn't. He didn't really burst on from the likes of Sixth Sense and stuff, though. He took
a big break as well.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, no, he's a good actor, to be fair to him, and I can see him fitting into that role quite well, actually.
And who did you pick again, Ted? Your man.
Clark Duke, who's the guy from The Office. He's the Dwight Jr. What's
That's
they?
right.
I think they actually. I think his name's Clark in The Office as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I questioned myself when I looked it up. I was like, Clark Duke. I was like, no, hang on. Clark is his name in The Office. I was like, oh, he's actually called Clark.
I'm pretty sure when he was in that other one that we had, we mentioned the man in Modern Family that was from that MTV show that I had to look up the name, the Untouchables or the Unfireables or whatever.
Can't
Adam
remember.
Levine.
Oh, Adam Levine, yeah.
Where he has one of them. He was in that as well. I'm pretty sure his name was Clark.
Yeah, maybe he just likes taking roles that are called Clark. Maybe that's his thing. I don't know. This is Carter, so I suppose you could just change it to Clark if you wanted.
I think you jumped the beat here, Ted. I had Paul Walter Hauser here.
Yeah, I did say that I thought Paul Walter Hauser first. It's just through one of my many rewatches of The Office. I always remember the bumbling idiot sidekick, and I thought
he's so good, isn't he?
I was just like, he kind of maybe fits in there. Now, Paul Walter Hauser isn't a much bigger star, maybe, but I do think he is a bigger star. Is probably the only thing.
I think he's going to blow up a bit bigger in this season of Cobra Kai and stuff.
Yeah, but he's been in films like Cruella and stuff like that. He already is a bigger star than your man Clark Duke, I would think.
Oh yeah, already, yeah, but I think he'll go higher into the.
I think he could be a really big name now in the next couple of years. But that's kind of why I moved away from him. But as I said, I might have missed a beat not just sticking with him.
You did miss a beat.
No.
I do like Clark Duke and I do like Jesse Eisenberg, but I think Eisenberg would have been a better Frank, as Ted said. So I'm gonna go with Clark Duke here.
That's fair. I am not connecting with this film at all tonight.
No, well, as you said, you didn't like it. I actually hadn't seen this film before. I'd never seen it before, and I kind of enjoyed it. But as I said, it goes from zero to.
You seem to be getting a better grasp on recast in this episode.
Yeah, it goes from 0 to 100 very quick.
Yeah, it's cool though, actually.
Yeah, but did you win the one that you'd only just seen?
I did, yeah.
You won Hercules, didn't you?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the trick.
The trick, yeah.
Just don't watch any movies ever and come back to us in 15 years when we do this.
Yeah, just recast them as you've only seen them for the first time.
Right, lads. It's 3-0. King, you need them all.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Just need a draw.
I've done that.
I just need a draw. He has done it. It is possible, but
not likely.
Not likely, exactly.
Well, these are the bigger names, so these might be the ones that are easier to match up to.
We're going down the second last female, the biggest female star other than the main in this. Out of the 4 females or 5 females that are in it, we're going with Sarah here. Oh, excuse me.
Sarah here.
Yeah, right. King, it's you first.
Shout me, King.
I went for Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Hug and Kiss.
If that's what you're into.
God, I miss those old Simpsons phone calls.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Shut up. I'm looking for Amanda Hug and Kiss. Oh, my wife over here. You little piece of snot-nosed punk. I'm going to wring your neck.
Why, if I don't know that voice, that's little Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
I love that he's just hung up on doing a prank phone call as well. Yeah.
Huge Chaz.
Huge Chaz is the best one. Yeah.
This was a prank phone call, and it didn't work out. I'm just going to hang up now.
Okay. Oh, what a nice
young man.
So I had 2 backups here. One was Lucy Hale, who I've used before, but I don't know if she takes this role. Another one is Kaya Scaldario. I'm never sure how to say her name, but I think she could have done it quite well. But this is where I actually settled on this one, and this is how I came to Owen Campbell, so that'll probably give you an idea. Mia Goth.
No, she's not taking this.
I think she could take this.
She's most certainly not taking this role.
You have to keep in mind that she's big in the horror scene. This was more Hollywood than horror.
Well, she's only have to bring out a new one with Alex Skarsgård and everything. She's not taking a side role, I don't think. unfortunately.
I suppose, yeah,
I
maybe it
I do like Mia Goth, and I fully didn't expect her to be the main in X.
Yeah,
I
see,
actually thought it would have been Brittany Snow.
yeah, see, so what I was thinking was that yes, she's starting to build a name, right? But if you're coming into this, and at the time it was the likes of Kevin Bacon and stuff, she isn't at the level that they would have been at. So this would be another stepping stone for her. Was my kind of thinking.
I get that as well.
And
But
it
I
also
just
has to
don't
be
see her
someone
taking it.
who's comfortable with the kind of the nudity part of the film as well.
Getting her Tigo video.
Yeah, it has to be stuff like it had to be stuff like that. And I don't know that Lucy Hale or Kaya would have gone for that.
Yeah.
So I kind of just went with someone I knew who would, and who's building a name in Hollywood. Yes, X, we loved X. I haven't seen Pearl. It comes out over here soon in the cinema.
I've seen Pearl.
You have, but I haven't seen it yet. So I understand what you're saying, that she has got, and like she obviously has Maxine coming out then as well, and then whatever the other one you were saying,
Infinity Pool.
But I think this could be a helpful stepping stone to move away. Maybe that she might not necessarily want to move away from horror, but it does give you that option because you've now worked with these other actors. Yeah, like these other actors and actresses who would be bigger names in Hollywood than you. Yeah. And that was my thinking there.
Okay. That's a very valid point. Unfortunately, as you can see, my pick was Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried as a genius.
I'll say
Janice is really a genius. Sarah is the vet.
Yeah, but she's meant to be intelligent enough that,
No, she's just a vet that looks after the animals.
No, because she has to monitor the heart rate. She has to understand all of that stuff.
Yeah,
as well. She's
meant to be a vet.
It's not just a vet though. Like she is very intelligent. Like she has to be able to understand what they're doing and all of the other stuff. Like there's a lot more to this, and like quite a feisty fight back. Like she's always arguing with Sebastian Cain and stuff as well. She has to have that kind of characteristic.
Amanda Seyfried definitely does have that.
I don't know. I always
and a number of things. Now, I don't like her personally.
I think of Amanda Seyfried as ditzy, because that's the main roles I've seen her in, is the ditzy best friend.
I don't know if you've ever seen. I don't know if you've seen Jennifer's Body. She's quite feisty at that.
No, I think the main things I've seen her in are things like Mean Girls and stuff from maybe a bit earlier in her career. But she was always just the ditzy friend to the side and things like that.
She has a bit of a mean streak in Time and stuff as well.
Yeah, maybe it's just things I haven't seen, but that's just always the impression I got of her. I never thought of her as, she's meant to be intelligent enough that the CIA are going to bring her in and give her clearance on a top level project.
Maybe she's that good of an actress that if she was given that part, she could kill it, Yeah,
but you can say that about anybody. You know what I mean? Like you can't use that argument and say, like, everyone could use that argument about everybody. That's not.
I don't need to use the argument because we matched. So.
Arlo had Blake Lively.
Bit too big, maybe.
Like that.
Bit too big a name.
Again, that's another Linda pick.
Possibly, yeah.
And even then, maybe not so much. But King,
it's not going to be a whitewash.
You're on for the comeback here.
Once it's not a whitewash, has anyone ever got on a whitewash before?
No one's been.
I don't want it to be me.
The only reason you survived the whitewash is because you got one pick in before I did, one on American Pie. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You survived the whitewash that night. But then again, that was only like your second episode or something.
Yeah.
But I'd have still took a whitewash, and I'd have rubbed it in your face ever since.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you had a chance to rub your dick in my face right now, you would.
Do you ever hear of wrestling? I'll wrestle my balls on your forehead.
Want a cup of tea?
I'll teabag you too. Amanda Seyfried is just, I thought was the right pick there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mia Goth probably would take, if you're doing this movie now with her standing, she'd take the Linda role and
possibly. I think we feel Mia Goth is a bigger star than she is my thinking.
There's major hype around her now, and
there is, stuff. But I don't like there's hype coming up around her, but there's hype around a lot of people a lot of the time. You still have to build your profile up for those bigger Hollywood, which is what I was thinking. I was like, she's comfortable with the nudity scenes and things like that. She has that kind of character that's, feisty and willing to fight back, and she can play a kind of clever character when she needs to as well. So that's where I was thinking with it. But
I have got to raise my hand here. Just look at my list there, Greg. I think I said the wrong. Who were we talking about?
Sarah.
Sarah. Yeah, I named the wrong one. There's honesty for you. I actually had Natalie Dormer from Game of Thrones. My apologies there.
As Sarah Kennedy.
As Sarah, yeah. So,
yeah, he has it on the list. He read out the wrong one.
Apologies. So now you got to pick.
Let's go back through that argument then.
Apologies
Natalie
there.
Dormer.
Who was in Game of Thrones? Do you know who, Greg? Yeah.
I don't know.
No, she's a big actress, Natalie Dormer.
That just made my decision a whole lot harder.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I just think Natalie Dormer, out of those two, Mia Goth and Natalie Dormer, if one of them's going to be Linda and the other one's going to be Sarah, to me,
the whitewash could still be on.
The whitewash is now still on.
Yeah. There we go.
The name of Goth was too big, but Dormer's bigger than Goth is.
Yeah.
Well, fair play to you, King. That was pure honesty.
Fair play. Well, there's not much he could have done about it, because I would have seen it in the chat. I would have looked at it later on and gone, hang on a minute, I've been shafted.
The episode would have been done by then.
I'd have edited it.
You can't change things at the end. Well, unless you were United getting that pen out a couple of years ago after the final whistle.
Oh yeah, I'd have been ringing you boys. Get back on here. I've been shafted.
Well, you've won now, so
I have won now, so I don't need to argue as hard for any of my other ones. But
well, fair play. That was
fair play.
Honest pick. It did sway my mind then.
That's fair
because of how big Dormer is.
Yeah, which then means
Goth probably would be the more likely to get naked. Well, not even naked, but
which now means my Linda pick is fucked. So
we may as well do Linda now because we know what King's one is. So King's given his Linda, so
which is Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah, I think technically I was meant to be. Was I meant to be first?
Doesn't matter.
But it's not going to matter anyway. I'll give mine. Mine was actually Natalie Dormer here. I had Emma Stone as a backup, Keira Knightley as a backup, but I don't know if Emma Stone, I think, would do the scenes here. I don't know that Keira Knightley would, but I had Natalie Dormer, who is, as we've seen before, willing to take her clothes off.
It looks like I was on the right kind of idea, but just with the wrong places.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just had them in the wrong spot.
There's a couple of your picks. Like if you had Eisenberg and Shannon switched, you'd have probably got the 2 points out of them.
Yeah.
Shannon.
Oh no, sorry, you wouldn't have got Shannon. No, you wouldn't have got Shannon, but you would have got Eisenberg.
Well, look, it is what it is.
Right, this one's going to be 5 because obviously my pick was Amanda Seyfried earlier. I think Dormer here
is definitely meant to be a genius. She is definitely meant to be a genius here as well.
So you have 2 picks left, King, to survive the whitewash.
I don't think it's going to happen.
Let King go first for Kensington.
Yeah, now hold on now. So Sarah, Arlo had Blake Lively, not a fan of that. And Linda, she had Amanda Seyfried.
Jesus, I would have if you'd switched those. I still don't like Amanda Seyfried as Sarah, but
that sounds like the first kind of pick that she didn't really.
You would definitely have switched to those two in terms of Hollywood names. Now, Amanda Seyfried does have quite a big Hollywood name, but most of her stuff is side character rather than lead actress in Hollywood. I'd say Blake Lively would have been closer to Linda.
Right. Well, we're down to Matt here. King.
Sorry, who did you have for Linda, Greg? Sorry.
Oh, for Linda, sorry.
Yeah.
For Linda, I had Megan Fox.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Don't know about the genius part of Linda. For
I don't know.
Getting the gear out though. Getting the gear out. Yeah.
I've seen her do a couple of movies now where she's playing, like even in Transformers.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah, but she's not a genius. She's just not thick.
Yeah, but then again, she doesn't do a whole lot in this. I know she works for them, And I think she's there because she was with Kane at one stage.
I don't think so. I think she's the second in command, essentially. You know, like he was obviously more intelligent, but she's like the second most intelligent. Is what's meant to be.
Well, no, I would have had Frank as
but he's the well side off, you know.
I think Fox goes in, and I've seen her do a couple other movies as of late now. They haven't been as big as she's once been, but she's playing those smarter characters now and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure she could.
The friend, huh?
Yeah, I could get I'd be willing to let her, try it. I do think she is quite a good actress as well. So,
yeah. So that's who I had. Now down to the two. King, you need at least one to avoid the whitewash.
Please be good. Be gentle on me, will you? Please.
Ted, straight in, no lube. King, straight in, no lube. Who you got?
Okay, so for
Kensington.
For Matt.
Matt, I had a backup of Henry Cavill, and then I just went with Chris Pine because I wanted somebody different. So Chris Pine.
Okay. I wanted my Matt to be a bit younger than Linda because he's kind of meant to be the junior in the operation of Sebastian Kane and Linda and stuff. So I had Will Poulter there, who I think could do it quite well.
Big Will.
Zac Efron, but Zac Efron is just way too jacked out at the moment. Now, could
that
lose
Kerry
the weight.
Von Erich thing is fucking huge, isn't he?
Now he could, lose some of the weight, so he could still fit in there, but possibly a bit too big a name because I don't think I don't think Josh Brolin was a huge name at this time as much as he is now. Liam Hemsworth I had as a backup here, as mentioned earlier when Greg said that Arlo had Liam, but I settled on Dacre Montgomery, again someone who's kind of building the name, but he has that kind of slightly bigger frame, younger than the rest of them, but that bit of an attitude to him as well. Do you know what I mean? Not backing down from Sebastian and stuff like that. Always trying to help everyone out. I think he could have done it quite well.
There won't be a whitewash.
Well, who did Arlo have? Just
fucking phone keeps turning off. Arlo had Henry Cavill or Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I don't like either of those, to be honest. Sorry, Arlo.
Taylor Johnson would be closer than Cavill. I think Cavill is way too big a name.
I have Dacre as a major backup for Kane.
It's his age that for Dacre that kind of keeping him young.
I think though, but you know that scene where they're talking in the fucking meeting with the CIA or whatever they are. And they're like, we got you straight out of school and we've done this and that because you're a genius. Mm-hmm. So to me, it tells me that they're a bit younger than he looks.
Yeah, but 15. They said they've had him for 15 years. If you're taking a 28-year-old, that means the CIA took someone who was 13 and hired them. Not a chance. So that's why I was like, maybe Kensington. He could fit in there. 28. He's admitted he's not as much of a genius as Sebastian Kane. He's a little bit younger. Could he play? I think he could play the intelligent character to that extent. Not super intelligent, but intelligent enough, and also capable of looking after himself when a fight breaks out, and then doing the fucking holding onto the ladder while he pulls people up. Got to be kind of
beast
a buff
mode.
Dude. Kind of got to be a bit of a buff dude for that, which obviously Brolin is and was.
Yeah, always has been, even when he was in the Goonies.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was thinking. I was like, I want him to kind of have that sort of demeanor, but I need him to be a bit younger because he's meant to be kind of the, intimidated by both Linda's previous relationship with Kane, and then also intimidated by Kane because he's not as intelligent as him,
I went with Richard Madden here.
Richard Madden is a good shout. I was thinking him.
As I says, I won't be a whitewash tonight. I'm gonna stick with Pine because I had Montgomery elsewhere. For me, I think he fits closer to Kane.
It's just his age is my thing, and Chris Pine is 42 here as well, so he's that little bit older. Like that's 10 years older than Kensington is.
It doesn't matter though.
It does when he's meant to be the junior on the project.
I know, yeah.
So if you've got a guy who's 42 coming in as your junior, what age is your senior?
Just afford me this point, will you?
No. There's never just affording somebody a point, right? I'm just giving the reason why I don't think Dacre will fit into Sebastian Kane. He's way too young to have been there for 15 years.
As I said, he's my backup anyway. But I found him to be a closer Kane
I think
off the back of his performance in Stranger Things.
No, I understand the performance-wise, yes, but age-wise, no.
And to be honest, he doesn't look his age either.
No, but he doesn't look 40 either.
He can look a lot older. He can though at times. No, I'm not
What age
40.
are you? What age are you? 7. But I'm looking at older.
Like they do mention that Kane is 38 in this. So if he's been with the CIA 15 years, you're talking 22 or 23 when they hired him. So that's kind of my thinking. Like Dacre doesn't look old enough to be close to 40. He doesn't. He has a bit of a young face as well to him. He just isn't. He would work very well as Kensington though.
He's 28 now at the minute, so.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a little bit younger than Brolin was here. But if Chris Pine is your younger guy, you've got to be putting Kane up a bit higher as well.
Well, I don't think Chris Pine looks his age anyway, but
I don't think so. That's another factor, you know.
Anyway,
I think
it's
he
five.
does. I think he does now. He's looking a bit older now.
5-1.
It's 5-1. We're going down the line. We're going to Rapey Joe himself, Sebastian Kane.
Rapey Joe.
This one was very difficult. Had James McAvoy, but Greg hasn't seen Split, which is probably the closest that James McAvoy has to being a character like this.
You need to go. You check that out, man. It's a great film.
But obviously, you can understand why I think James McAvoy in terms of the intelligence and the stuff like that. But you do need to understand him from Split. Christian Bale was another one. He's played Batman.
Easy pick, really, isn't he?
He's played Batman. He can do all of that, and he's played psychotic characters and stuff in the past.
He's played probably the best psychotic character.
Yeah,
probably since 2000.
I have a backup here that I didn't use because I wasn't super certain on them. In David Anders, who I think you knew from. What did you know him from, Greg? You've mentioned him before,
I know
The Revenant and things like that. I think he could do it quite well, but name value was important here, and I don't think David Anders has the name value to take the lead of this film. So I went with someone who can play the intelligent part quite well, but I don't know, and this is why I said I don't know that he can play that weird psychotic bit well enough to be hated the way Kane is meant to be here. But I went with Tom Hiddleston. I do think he's a very good actor, so I do think he could do it because he is a very, very good actor. But
he's a chameleon of sorts, isn't he?
He's a very likable person, even as low key and stuff. He's still very likable. In the first film, he's
the wrestler. Yeah.
In the first film, he's a bit a massive dick, but after that, people do become a bit, and it is because of him. It's because of
you like
him.
my glass?
Yeah, I do.
Very nice.
But yeah, I went with Tom Hiddleston. I think he can play the genius part very well, and I do think he can play creepy and stuff. The rapey bits of the role is where it gets dicey. I don't know that he's willing to do that, but maybe. I think he could do it if he was taking the role.
I think he'd do anything. He's just a phenomenal actor.
Oh no, being able to do it and being willing to do it are two different things, though. That's where I was.
The only thing what I'd put to that is, because the character's invisible when it happens, he wouldn't be the man behind the camera doing it.
No, but he'd be associated with that role.
And I know.
That's where I don't know. Is he willing to take that, or would he be like, I don't know if I want to be associated with that? But in terms of being able to do it and being able to do the invisible bits of it, because it's very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to act invisible, and do enough actions and hand movements and facial movements to portray everything while invisible and with a fake skin face on. But I think he has the ability to do it, which is why I settled on him.
Yeah, it's a good show. King, shoot me.
Okay, I'm just gonna go straight in. I went for someone who we've talked about on our other show on the Slab, and we've reviewed one of his films. And on going on his performance in that film, I went with Sebastian Stan because Sebastian Stan plays a cannibal in that. He can, he can go from good to nasty like that.
Mhm.
I know he's a big
That film really proved it.
Yes. So for that particular, when I was thinking like, oh, I could go with Jake Gyllenhaal or someone like that, or whatever. But Sebastian Stan, I think, has all the tools to kind of get near to what Kevin Bacon is, So
Yeah.
Fair
my
enough.
pick.
Fair enough. Two Marvel boys.
Who did Arlo have?
Arlo had Jake Gyllenhaal. I
Again,
don't see that.
I could
Um,
see him being able to do it.
It was an early pick for me, but then, as I said, I would do probably like yourselves. I do an initial draft and then I go back over it again.
Oh yeah, I have
See
loads
who's-
of people
Yeah.
in mind
So
before I pick somebody.
that would have been an early kind of not necessarily a favorite, but a placeholder
Yeah.
name.
What would you have thought, Greg, of Ethan Hawke? I didn't put him down in the end,
winner.
but I think Ethan Hawke, I didn't put him down because I was afraid that he was maybe just not right for that role. I kind of questioned it.
I found him now at the minute as close to a Kevin Bacon kind of actor
Yeah.
around at the minute.
You missed a trick there, Ted.
Yeah.
Now,
it
funny
was just one of
that
those
you
things.
mentioned Ethan Hawke. I actually had him as a backup,
Yeah.
and I only put a backup down surely just to put one down, because when I mentioned to you when I lost last week that we're doing this,
Mhm.
I had my Sebastian Cain cast before even rewatching this.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's some people might go, oh, it's a lazy pick, it's this, that, and the other. It's the easiest pick you're gonna get. It's Bill Skarsgård.
I did think of Bill Skarsgård at one point.
Do you know what? You see him, obviously, he was in heavy CG makeup and prosthetics and stuff for it, right?
Again, I did think of him, and again, it was age that put me completely off him. 32.
Yeah.
Bit of a baby
Anyway,
face.
but then again, you don't see his face for a whole lot of this. And Kevin Bacon looked young in this.
Oh, sort of. He still looked like he was about 40.
Then again, if you go back and watch
He always
Friday
looked
the
old.
13th
He always
part
looked old.
1, he's in Friday the 13th part 1 at 17 or 18, and he looks the exact same.
Mhm. He looks.
Yeah,
He just has an older kind of a.
He does. He just has a bit of an older face, but Bill Skarsgård doesn't. And that's what put me out, because I actually did think of Bill Skarsgård, and I was like, oh, Greg would love Bill Skarsgård here, but I was like, no, he's too young. I think what put me off with Ethan Hawke was that there's only about 10 years between Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon, and I was like, is he maybe just?
Is that all?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Hawke's old. Yeah, Hawke's over 50.
So I was kind of like, is Hawke maybe just too close in age to Kevin Bacon, where I'd be aging up my Sebastian
that
Cain
theoretically is
like
too
much.
That's for me. Like, remember when we recast Nightmare on Elm Street, and I had Kevin Bacon the whole way through, and he's only 7 years younger than Robert Englund is.
Yeah. Now I've just looked up there. There's 12 years between them. Okay, so it's not like it's not nothing, but it's also kind of
close.
There's 10 years between what age Sebastian Cain, or what age Kevin Bacon was, and when he played it, to what Ethan Hawke is now. So I was kind of like, am I dicing too close to them two being
old.
the same age already? And I was like, if I'm putting someone in who's 50, am I going too old? Because he, as you said, he is meant to have been straight out of kind of college sort of thing. So
no, it's got to finish 5-2 here. I think Sebastian Stan's closer to doing the rapey scenes and stuff.
Yeah, and as I said,
which you kind of see in Fresh as well. You
that's
can
what
tell
I was thinking.
Yeah, and
heavily not implied.
That's where I was kind of worried with Tom Hiddleston, and I kind of had thought of Sebastian Stan, and I didn't want to go there because I thought maybe it was just too easy. So I was like, I'll try and go a little bit.
Well, like Hiddleston, you could. I mean, the thing about Hiddleston is, you know yourself, guys, he's so versatile. You could put him in anything. You really could. Yeah. Same with Sebastian Stan. And so, I mean, it's not that it's a bad show. It's not a bad show.
There's a reason the two lads are picked quite often.
Yeah. Now, see,
exactly.
The reason I went Hiddleston over Sebastian Stan was just he's meant to be this god complex, and that's probably what sold me, because I was like, who had a god
plays a god.
complex.
Yeah.
Low key had a god complex. So yeah, he's meant to be a god, but he has a god complex in the whole film, and he's very good at being that, little bit of a jokester as well. Like the moving the can from one place to the other and then moving it back.
Well, that's what he's meant to be. He's meant to be a trickster. That's the thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Sebastian Cain does. He does that a few times where he just moves things around. And I was like, yeah, maybe he could fit in there. And for Sebastian Stan, I was like, Sebastian Stan is maybe closer to the ranged part of him, but I was like, is Sebastian Stan the genius part? And that's where I was debating when I was doing this. And I was like, oh, I'll go with Tom Hiddleston because I think he's closer to the genius part. But like, I can't argue against Sebastian Stan either, because it is someone I had thought of and just didn't set.
I'm surprised both of you didn't go, or one of you didn't go Skarsgård.
As I said, he was in my mind, but it was the age. 32.
Do you know what? For me, it has to be a specific type of role, and I'll know it when I see it. And when I see it, I will pick it. But
I thought Skarsgård was good, and then I was like, maybe I'll go a bit older and go Alex Skarsgård, and I was like, no, Alex Skarsgård's maybe too big. So I was like, Bill Skarsgård's too young, because then they're putting him at 15, 16, being hired by the CIA, and I was just like, we're not getting into a 15 or 16-year-old being hired for a top level project for the CIA. Yeah. So I had to age up a little bit. It's the same reason I put Dak Gray into Kensington, because I was like, too young. Like, you need to have that. You have to kind of be in your 30s to 40s for that Kane role, was my thinking,
Right, gents.
Congratulations, champ. Well done.
Yeah, it was a good film. I enjoyed the film now, I have to say, as weird as bits of it were. I did enjoy it overall.
I'm just glad I didn't have a whitewash, so I'm happy. Yeah. We all go home happy, okay? I know you were going to win. I went home happy with 2 points, so I'm happy enough.
You're 1 win away from a triple threat.
Yeah.
Oh, the triple threats are always a dangerous thing.
Well, I'm not in the triple threat if we get to it.
They still
I'm
are, though.
So it could be a bit of a laugh,
Now, hopefully the Sherlock will be back next week.
Hopefully.
Is he due back next week? Is he?
Yeah.
Who knows with that sick now?
Well, that's it. I mean, he has a doctor's pad. That's what he has now at this stage.
He might slot back in because obviously he's the final piece of the triple threat.
Mm-hmm.
Or it may be me. You'll have to tune in to find out.
See on the day, yeah.
But I'm gonna hold it to somebody if it's back to me being the judge again. I'll be owed a favor.
Oh, is it my pick then?
Yeah,
it's your pick.
Okay.
For next week.
I always need to pick films I like when I'm not going to be in them, or potentially not in them.
Yeah, because you don't want to recast them yourself, you creepy dickhead.
I know. Well, look, try and remember this cast for me, okay? Michael Biehn, okay?
Terminator.
No.
No.
Claire Forlani. Vanessa Marcy, Ed Harris, Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery. Yeah.
Rock.
I'm going there. The Rock.
We're going to Alcatraz.
Damn right. Talk about a fucking star-studded cast.
Yeah, Jesus.
What a movie. Mate, will you stop picking fucking 2.5 hour long films?
Hey, look.
I'm not sure how long this is actually.
It
feels like about 2 hours.
It's about that, yeah.
Told you. This was Nicolas Cage at the height of his powers, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. When
coming off the Face Off, this, 8mm, Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes,
like
yeah.
Nick Cage. Stick him back in here again.
He's a favorite.
He can play Connery.
He can play anything. He's a fucking genius.
Sharkin. Right.
He could do Connery, actually.
Well, actually, the best thing about The Rock is I'm pretty sure it's either on Netflix or Disney.
I think it's on Disney.
I did see it somewhere the other day when I was flicking through to find something to watch.
Anyway, it's not going to be a hard move to find. I have it on DVD anyway.
Yes, it's definitely on one of them, so that's at least something that I don't need to go and search for again. Sherlock seems to do whenever he uses a film. Here's a film that's not on any streaming platform. Sherlock.
Sick Note returns again.
I own about
it's just on VHS.
I own about 6 streaming services, and it's not on any of them. That is absolutely fantastic. Thanks. But this one at least is. So
you're welcome.
We'll continue on next week with it'll definitely be me, and then it may be Carl Sherlock, or maybe the 3 of us here again. But until then, don't forget to like, share, follow, all that good stuff for us here, and for it's the same for the boys over on the slab, who have had some
Big
serious
guests.
Big
guests in the last few weeks already.
Again, Greg's killing it.
Check out some of the episodes that have gone up. I've jumped in on 1 or 2 of them as well.
Thank you very
but
much,
they have
sir.
a lot of other big guests lined up that I'm in the know for. But you boys, the rest of you listeners aren't, so you will have to check it out. But if you like your horror, do go over, like, share, follow, all that good stuff on the Slab Horror. But until next week, good luck.
Woo!